According to a report from CNN, kids between the ages of 8 and 12 spend an average of 6 hours a day consuming media. 6 hours a day. Kids should be spending their time outside with friends and using their imaginations. Sadly, the reality is that many of today's kids are just glued to the screens of their own personal phones and laptops. I'm here today to help you understand why too much technology can have a devastating effect on kids. Also, the screens to these devices can cause vision damage, and on top of it all, social media hinders the development of person-to-person communication skills. Luckily, there are some steps we can take to avoid these issues, and I'll share those as well at the end. Too much time with technology takes away from how kids should be spending their time. Childhood is a time for having fun, making friends, and learning from their experiences. When the majority of time is spent indoors isolated from others, it is not a good thing. One important thing to consider is the rise of childhood obesity. 1 in 3 children and adolescents are considered overweight now. The excessive use of technology is a leading factor in this. Kids should be actively playing together outside, whether it's an organized sports team or just a fun game of tag. Technology prevents them from getting the exercise they need, and becoming accustomed to not being active will follow them forever. As if not playing as kids and the risk of obesity weren't a good enough reason to limit technology use, staring at phone and computer screens can also cause damage to kids' vision. Dr. Celio Ramos, an expert in the field of vision, has said that LED lighting on these devices can damage kids' eyes and maybe even lead to partial blindness. We should all take the necessary steps to avoid putting children at risk of losing their vision. It is a too important thing to risk. The light from phones and computers is unnatural to the eye and unhealthy to be taken in large amounts. And as I said earlier, 6 hours a day is not a small amount. Another major issue is the use of social media as opposed to communicating in person, and it can hinder how a child develops their communication skills. While remaining indoors on social media, children are unable to practice their face-to-face communication skills. According to Dr. Paul Booth of DePaul University, people are relying on more passive communication, such as emailing instead of meeting in person, and texting instead of calling even. Because of the constant use of technology to communicate is becoming the preferred method with people. Unfortunately, that means that when we are in a situation to communicate in person, people are less comfortable, and some are not even able to do so effectively. That is not how we should want our children to grow up. They should be able to meet new people, have fun, and never struggle to do so. Some people may argue that technology is a helpful platform for their kids to learn while at home, but I ask, at what cost? With the dangers of potential obesity, damage to their vision, and not even having social skills to learn, the use of technology should be limited. But don't panic, because luckily there are multiple things we can do to battle these problems. When it is necessary to give your child a phone to stay in touch, please don't give them a smartphone. It might be important for you and your child to be able to get in touch in case of emergency, but to provide them another way to access social media and just stay glued to a phone is not a good idea. Also, if you do let your child have different devices, monitor their use and limit how much time they can spend on them. Some good can come from learning and staying in touch with friends through social media. However, it should be limited. And lastly, and more importantly, parents should just lead by example and spend more time with their kids. Have fun with your kids. Having family time and playing outdoors together is very important. And by doing so, technology will appeal less to your kids, and they'll have fun with you. Technology is having an adverse effect on kids today, but luckily there are things that we can do to help out. And it is an important one with the risk of negatively affecting kids' health. Don't let your kids' memories of their childhood be solely of staring on their phone screens. Thank you everyone for listening.